Welcome back to another Red Hawk Media Virtual Academy. We're up to day 22 here as we start this week off. And apparently, the school district is not the only ones with technical difficulties this morning. If you haven't heard, Schoology and Skyward are apparently a little glitchy today. So I'll take that into account. I think we'll be okay though, because most of what we're looking forward to for the rest of the year is going to be longer range, longer term assignments that have like longer reaching deadlines here that will span a bigger amount of time. And hopefully that'll give people a chance to have that flexibility virtually to hop on at different times, get things done, and, just deal with everything that's going on here and make it manageable. So without further ado, we're going to take a look at the week here and what we've got going on. And I'm going to switch on over here. And this is for all of the classes. So let me pop this up here. And one of the things that we're looking at overall is there are a number of longer range assignments, as I said, that are added on. And Wednesday is a deadline for several classes. Game design is going to be looking at a 2D game reflection, which the link has been shared in that assignment. The start level 1 and level 2 are going to be complete for digital media 2. And they'll be throwing those all together. We've got most of that already created. It's just linking it all and making sure that it all plays. We'll talk about that more. And then looking ahead to Friday here, video production is going to be talked about new skills tutorial. We've got the Red Hawk Media site delivery, which is going to be happening for the web design class. And then finally, Digital Media 1, we're looking at a trailer soundtrack, which is one of my favorites. And that's going to be all the way till the end of the week here on Sunday at 11:59. Okay, so that's kind of a quick once over here in Schoology. If you can get to that, great. If you can't, you can see it here, what's going on, and you can kind of get started knowing what's ahead. So let's jump into the course content here, and I'm going to hop out of here. And that's going to take us over to Digital Media 2. Let me pop that up there. And for Digital Media 2, we've been working in our game. And one of the things that we're looking for here, let me put this up to full screen. There we go. Well, one of the things that we're looking for is we're looking for playability now. We've got, or should have, a character that's running and jumping and all that stuff, interacts with some obstacles, has health that goes down. When their health gets down to 0, they actually die. The dying animation plays, and then the game over screen pops up, and that should allow you to hop back in. So that's a little bit of functionality. Now, in addition to that, we want to make sure that we include that start screen. So at the very start of the game, when we build it out, we can go in there and we can actually hit play. So what I'm talking about is this. When we build a game out, it's a little bit different than actually playing it in Unity. We'll talk more about this as we get closer, but you'll see what we're working towards here. This is a game, this is a build of the game that you're looking at right now, and it's a single file, okay? And you can see that it's an executable file, and what that'll allow me to do is actually double click on this, and I don't know which is which anymore, but I'm going to double click on this, and it'll bring up a window where I can actually play this game. Oop, clicked off of that, that's not good. Okay, so on this gameplay here, I can actually hop in, I can play, I can go through my game, all that stuff. I can die, I can play again, and go through all of the different levels. So the idea for you guys is that you're working towards this build, which will be the end result that you turn in for your game here once it's all put together. It'll start with a menu much like what you saw here. It'll go into level 1. You'll have the ability to restart at any time if you die, and then it will go into a level 2 as well. And then there'll be certain things that have to be included with those levels, like your coin counter, your health bar. There's going to be enemies that will drop in here later in the week, all of those different things. But you'll have a well-designed start screen, level 1, level 2, and then you'll have like a final kind of win screen set up there. And that's what we're working towards here. So with that in mind, one of the steps that you're going to take today is you're going to actually start to link level 1 to level 2. And right now, we've spent a lot of time working in level 1. We've got a lot of things figured out there. We've got the cameras, we've got the character, we've got the coins, health bar, all that stuff. And instead of recreating all of that from scratch, we're just going to make it really simple. Much like what we did with the game over screen, we're just going to do some duplicating of the scene. So if you can navigate to where you have your scenes saved, it's probably in your scenes folder. And if you're not sure what scene you're actually on in Unity right now, good way to check that out is all the way at the top here. Let me zoom in on this. I can see the name of the scene at the very top of the Unity window. So right now I'm working in the 2D tutorial scene. And that gives me an idea how to navigate these and which is which, because sometimes we've got a lot of other scenes that are in there from some of the stuff that we downloaded. It gets a little confusing. So here's my scene 1 right now. And like I said, I'm going to make quick work of this as far as like not recreating everything from scratch. And I'm just going to select that and I'm going to hit Command D. Okay, so now I've got a second one. Okay, and I'm going to go into this one. Let's make sure which is which here. If you're not sure of which is the copy here, you can always look down at the bottom as well when this is selected. And I can see this is 2D Tutorials 1, so this is the duplicate of it. I'm going to go in and just change the name of this to Level 2. Boom. All right, now that's all set up. And when we last met, we were working in the game manager, and we were working on the entry door and the exit door. And on the exit door, you already know that there's a code on the exit door that if you type in level 2 into that code, you'll be able to actually access level 2 now. Now, before you get into that, one of the things that you'll have to do is obviously you'll have to go to that exit door. I don't have one in this particular scene, but you'll go to that exit door, select it, and then in the inspector where the door script is, you'll be able to add in that loading script that'll take you to the new scene. I'll follow up with more details on that tomorrow. The big thing is right now what I want to do is I want to actually go into level 2 and I want to start changing things around enough so that I know that it's level 2, because we're not just going to simply take a duplicate and call it a day. So I'm going to load up level 2. I want to, let me cancel, let me save what I've got right now. Always make sure you save your scenes. Unity gets a little glitchy on that. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to also save my project. And now I'm going to hop into level 2. And I will notice little to no difference here. Okay, but again, this is why we pointed this out. If I check at the top, I know that I'm now on level 2. And I know that I can go in here and I can start changing things. So if I want to get rid of some of the platforms, move stuff around and all that. What I don't want to get rid of is I don't want to get rid of my character, because my character is all set up. I don't want to get rid of my extra health items. I can just move those around. Don't want to get rid of my UI, like my health bar, my coin counter. I don't want to get rid of my prefab coins. I can just move those around into different places. And anything that you've got as obstacles, you can just move those around as well. So basically now it's just a matter of like moving things around. A good way to kind of tackle this is you can go in and disable a lot of stuff so that you can see what you're working on. I can just go right down the line here and I can say, okay, I'm going to disable the caves. I'm going to disable my extra health for now. I'm not deleting it, I'm just disabling it. So I'm selecting it, and then over here, I'm just deselecting this so that it's not on the scene anymore or not showing in the scene. I'm going to disable my doors for now. The columns, don't need that. And I just keep working through until it gets a little bit more manageable. And I would take this all the way down to, for me, let's see here. I would go all the way to my grid here, and I'd just disable all of that stuff. And now I can see my grid and only my grid, and I can start working on that. For you, it's probably your platforms folder. Disable everything but that, and then just start moving your platforms around so that they're all set up here. Make sure that you don't get rid of your cameras, obviously, your main camera or your Cinemachine camera, or the multi-purpose rig if you're still using that. You want to keep those things. But most of the other stuff you can move around and do as you need to do with those things. Okay, so that's a good start or lead into this. If you want more details, check out Schoology, hop on there. The assignment explains a little bit more. Tomorrow, I'll talk about that exit door a little bit more and the code that goes on it and how you can set all of that up so that it actually goes from level 1 to level 2 and we can see that process. So be prepared for that tomorrow. In the meantime, start working on level 2, come up with a new configuration, learn from your mistakes on level 1, and come up with some good stuff here. All right, excellent. That's going to wrap it up for Digital Media 2. As always, if you're having any issues, I had a number of people email me about the game manager and things like that. Hop on to Google Meet, 11 to noon. I'm available then. If that time doesn't work, I've already got a few time slots that have been scheduled out for today with different people. They're a little bit later risers, and I'm meeting with them. So, yeah, well, some of them have jobs too that they're going to. So, yeah, we'll make it work. All right, let me hop out of here. That's it for Digital Media 2. It's going to take me over to web design. Okay, and web design here, sending this over. Maybe, there we go. With web design, let me check my notes here. Oh, we are in the final stage of the Red Hawk Media site build. Okay, so what that means is this. We are going to actually deliver the site to the client, me. And what we're going to do is we're going to first have a meeting. That's kind of step one. You want to schedule that meeting. You want to take your client all the way through the site, show them all the different features, make sure that they're very pleased with all of that stuff. It's exactly as they asked for. And we've been in contact all along throughout the whole process. So I'm looking forward to this last meeting to see what your final site looks like. I have a pretty good idea what most of them are like, but just those last little things that you're kind of ironing out here. We'll meet, we'll talk. And then step 2 is you actually deliver the site to the client. So you're going to actually give me a shared file link. And that's what I want to walk you through here so that you know exactly how to go about doing that properly. So your root folder, all the files that are in it, everything that goes into it makes that trip over here. Okay, so first thing that we're going to do, I'm going to locate my root folder. Now, some of you were working in Atom, and locating your root folder is going to be really easy. It's going to be a matter of heading over to your desktop here. Then on your desktop, you're going to find that root folder. I've got my root folder here. Now at this point, I'm going to hop over to Google Drive. Now, if you're in Dreamweaver, it might be a little bit more to it. When I hop into Dreamweaver, remember that we created an overall site. And when you go to those sites, and you can see that right over here, you can drop this down and I can go to the different sites that I've created. Now, I would go into manage sites, and this is a great way when I've got my sites in here, I can see exactly what folder it's saving my root folder to in here if I had a site that was actually in here. Okay, so then I can locate that root folder. Once I've got that, everything will be in there, and then I can upload that to Google Drive. So hopping over there, sorry, I'm racing along. It's been a lot of coffee this morning. Okay, and I hop on over to, let's see here, which one? This one. All right, and I'm just going to open up a new tab. I'm going to hop over to my Google Drive. And many of you have been through this process before. I just want to be clear about how that's going to work. I can hop into new. And what I want to do is I want to do a folder upload. When I do that folder upload, I just navigate to my root folder, and then I'm going to go ahead and upload that. Once this is uploaded, it's asking, hey, do you want to actually do all these 15 files? Yes. Okay, so I start that upload. Hopefully this works while I'm streaming here. 1 minute left. Okay, when I get done with that root folder, one of the things that I'll be able to do is get a shareable link. That shareable link is what you're actually going to include in your email to me when we schedule the meet. The last meet where you walk me through everything. So if I go to that root folder, here's everything that's in there. And now up in, let's see here if I remember right, up in the gears, I believe. Maybe not. One of these, let's see here. Maybe if I stretch this out, it'll work a little bit better here. Okay, I'm just looking for my sharing link here. Here's my grid view, information view details, support. One of these has my shared link in here. I should be able to. There we go. I can just right click on it. It's that easy. Wow. All right, so I go to the root folder, I right click on it, and I go get shareable link, or I can go share directly like this. Since we're in the district with each other, you can just type in Tim and, oh, not Mr. Hoof. All right, and then all right, you get this, and now it's all shared. And that gets sent off to me. This might be a good time to put a little professional note in there too. Here's the file that I'm sharing you from my company, yada, yada, yada. All right, excellent. So you got that all shared. Perfect. All right, let me hop out of here. That pretty much sums it up for web design here. Schedule a meeting with me, do the final walkthrough with me, upload all your files to Google, be ready to turn those over by sharing everything. More instructions are on Schoology. You can check there. The assignment, you've got to the end of the week to take care of this. I put Friday because I need to physically face-to-face meet with you virtually and go through all this stuff. Excellent. That's digital media. I'm sorry, that's web design. And let me hop out of there. And that takes us to the next class. And in the next class, we've got game design. All right, in game design, a little bit of follow-up here. We have been working on our 2D game, and we are done. Sunday was the turn-in for that. And as with any larger project that spans a long period of time, that was our first time building a game. That was our first opportunity to work with code, to lay everything out, to go through that process of actual game design. I think one of the valuable things to do when you do something creatively like that for a long while is let's go through and actually reflect on that process. What worked for you? What didn't work? What were some good things about your game? What were some things that didn't work with your game? If we don't do that, if we don't learn from those things, when we go into our 3D game and we go through this process again using 3D, it could be the same exact struggles for you all over again. So in Schoology, I've created an assignment. As I already pointed out at the beginning of the video here, you are working on just doing this reflection up till Wednesday is when it's due. This is basically what I've got. I have shared, let me send that over, my bad, and send, and there we go. So with your 2D game reflection, you're kind of going through, and I think one of the most important questions to ask yourself is, did your game, or how did your game actually compare to what you envisioned? So when you first thought about this game and you thought about all the possibilities and, pie in the sky, like perfect situation kind of game, what would it have looked like and what does yours look like? And obviously there's going to be some discrepancies, but I think it's important to look at those and see, what the differences are. The second question, what are some highlights from your game? What are things that turned out really well? You may find that you had certain skill sets that worked really well within the game and that made those parts of the game better. What were some general weaknesses of the game? Like what didn't work? I mean, not what was broken, but what was a struggle? What do you think didn't turn out exactly the way that you wanted? And then when you think about your skills in this whole process, there were a lot of people that were saying that visually they were more skilled. Coding wise, they brought more to the table. There were a lot of different skill sets that were involved there. Just being able to follow directions and realize that there was a process, that in itself was a skill set for a lot of people, right? And then finally, given your successes and failures with this first game here, and knowing that we're going to create a second game that's going to be 3D, what do you plan to do differently? I mean, what's this going to look like for the future for you? How are things going to be different on the second go around? How are you going to make those improvements and avoid some of those pitfalls of the first game experience that you had? So get those answered. The link for this is on Schoology. You can check that out, and then you should be all set all the way up till Wednesday. Tomorrow I'll have some examples of some of the final game builds here. I'm working on a way of posting them actually to the Red Hawk Media site so you can play each other's games and kind of see what that looks like. But I got to figure out the logistics to all of that here. I'm working on that. But that should wrap it up for game design. Excellent. That's going to take me out of here. And after game design, we are talking video production. And video production, it was enlightening to see many of the different quarantine videos here, the life of Riley, so to speak. You know, a lot of fun stuff that got turned in there, and it's fun to see the different videos and get some different perspectives of vlogging. Some of you went with that linear style. Some of you went with more of like storytelling. Some of you went thematic and kind of focused on different things. And some of you it was quite random. So whatever it is, you had put those things together. In our next assignment here for this week, and again, we're coming up with longer range kind of goals here so that it's manageable. We have limited resources and whatnot. Obviously, there have been different things that you've had to do for classes, things outside of class and that, or maybe there's something that you've been wanting to explore, but it's a big focus on what's some new skill sets that you've acquired recently. Things that you've done, things that you would like to do, and then I'd like for you to share that in a video. More details are on Schoology, you can take a look at that, but just as a quick example, kind of giving you an idea of what this might be like here. Here's something that was created. Didn't get to play their senior season for all of the sports this spring. And one of the things that they did is they found different ways to actually recognize those seniors. And in Riley's case here, he created these baseball posters. He did the Photoshop work with them. They got them printed off. They posted these on the night of the lights, where they recognized all the players. They turned on the lights in the stadium, all of that stuff. Here's our very own Riley. There he is. All right, that handsome devil. Oh, let me take this off. That is totally obscuring his face. All right, but there he is. But in creating this poster here, he had to learn a number of new skills and employ those in Photoshop. Just little techniques, tips, and tricks. That's what he might focus his video on, not to lead him in one direction or another, but this might be an example of something that he could use to create a little bit of content related to this. Here's another one of them that he did. Here's Colin, another one of our students here in the Red Hawk Media program here. Riley's going to take these skills that he learned, put them into a how-to tips and trick kind of video, you know, and show some of those things that he's learned. These may not be the skills that you've acquired recently or that you have an interest in. That's fine. Focus on something else that you've been learning about. Like for instance, I just watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Okay, the latest of the Quentin Tarantino films, and just read a ridiculous amount of stuff about the golden years of Hollywood. That might be something that I would share in a video, like informative style, because it's something I've been learning a lot about recently, and that might be the thing that I really focus on. So as you put this together, whatever format it might take, it's very flexible, but something new that you've recently learned about, skills that you've acquired, information that you've gotten, things like that, related to the media world, of course, okay, or film or cinema or anything along those lines here. What can you put into that video to tell us about those new skills here? And again, more details on Schoology, check that out, so you can get an idea of what it is that you're putting together. Okay, excellent. And I've been loving the content. I know it's not easy putting the content together outside of school without the resources and without the collaborative feature of all this stuff, but these are things that, you know, people who are constantly growing in their skill sets, they do these automatically, this kind of stuff. So, you know, that's why we're exploring some of these different kinds of projects. All right, excellent. I'm going to move on to Digital Media 1, and in Digital Media 1, we've been working in Garageband. And in Garageband, you have now shared a number of songs with me, song with Visualizer. You've shared, let's see here, 4 or 5 songs. And then after that, you came up with a stinger pack where you put together like 6 or 7 different MP3s of different links and put those all together with the idea that they would be a quick blast of music that would be added to an audio production or a video production. And everything has been very good. I've been very impressed with everything overall. I think we've got a good base of skills here in GarageBand in regards to music. But now we're going to shift from music to a different facet of GarageBand and look at actually doing some audio production. So we did like strictly music. Now we're going to move over to a different genre of audio in GarageBand. We're going to look at creating a soundtrack. Okay, specifically a soundtrack for a trailer. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to locate a trailer of your liking. Like find the most recent trailer, or find a trailer that you really enjoy. Has to be between 1.5 minutes and 2 minutes. That's kind of like the sweet spot for this project. Any that you're not really 2 minutes is what we're minutes. And what you're going to do is simply this. You're going to download that trailer. So if I hop on over to let me switch screens here real quick. Pop over here. Okay, and I'm going to open a new tab and hop in here, and using, of course, our favorite YouTube to MP4 downloader. Okay, we're going to, and we have access to these from home here. So using one of these, we're going to head on over to YouTube. We're going to find our trailer. We're going to paste that link into our downloader, and we're going to get a hold of that video. Okay, now that video is going to have all of the original sound, music, sound effects, dialogue, all that kind of stuff, which at this point would be a good time to point out game trailers work really well. It could be a trailer for pretty much anything, any kind of movie, any of that, but game trailers tend to work really well because a lot of times they don't have a lot of dialogue in them, and that tends to be kind of the challenge with this assignment, is the dialogue. So if you can find a trailer that doesn't have a lot of dialogue, or you strategically cut around the dialogue, that might be a way to go about this. Once I find my trailer, I get it downloaded. I'm going to move on over to GarageBand here. And I'm just going to bring this up. And just like we always do, we have the start screen for everything. And we are going to just start a basic empty project here. Okay? And one of the features that's kind of hidden in GarageBand is that you can actually put video into your GarageBand project. So if I go in, start a new empty project, and I'm in here, I have to create a track. So I'm just going to put a microphone track in here for now. And I'm going to take off my 4 count and my metronome right away. And I'm going to hide the EQ and hide this so I've got a little bit more room to work. And then what I'm going to do is wherever I downloaded my video to, I'm going to hop over. Now let me minimize a few things so we can see what's going on here. I'm going to grab, let's see here. This is the coin tutorial that I put together sometime. Let me just grab the intro part here because it's a shorter, smaller video. Now I can only drag in one video track at a time, okay? Only one. That's all I can put in there, is one video track at a time. So if you've got things that you need to get from other video tracks, you're gonna have to do those outside of GarageBand. It only takes one track. So if you're gonna edit any of these trailers, you do all the editing in iMovie first, export it from iMovie, and then you're gonna move it into GarageBand. And when you drag this file in here, this is what it looks like. It pops up with a preview screen. And that's what I've got here. And I'm just going to move that down to the bottom because it is useful. Let me put it over here. Okay. This preview screen basically shows me where I'm at in the actual video. So if I scrub along here, you can see here's the video. You can see there's probably where the talking is that goes along in this first part here. Okay. And this is the original soundtrack. Now I'm not going to delete this right away, because I can use it as a reference to kind of guide me, but I am going to mute it because I'm not going to use any part of this original soundtrack whatsoever. Okay, I'm going to mute it. And that's going to be kind of our first steps here for day one of this whole process. Now, this is going to be a week long, all the way to Sunday kind of affair. You're going to be working on this throughout the whole week, and it does take some time. I may extend it depending on time, but this is our process that we're starting. This is day one. Get your video downloaded, do any editing that you need in iMovie, and then bring it into GarageBand. And then once it's in here, just make sure that you save your project, because you'll have to keep coming back to this every single day to kind of add on to it. And those are our beginning steps here in Digital Media One with GarageBand, and kind of looking at that process. I'm gonna pause there. I'm not gonna go any further with the process. I think that's more than enough to bite off right now. The big thing is just select a good trailer that you're really interested in. Find something that you really enjoy. There's a lot of good trailers out there, new and old, and make sure that it's got the quality that you're looking for, so that you can come in here. And of course, we're doing these for school, so goes without saying, keep it school appropriate, all of that. All right, excellent. Again, if you have any questions with this process, any of the steps along the way, one of the things that I would desperately recommend to all of you here is go ahead and reach out to me if you need any help with anything. I'm on Google Meet from 11 to noon. Link is in Schoology. I just did an update. It's the same exact link that we've been using all along here so that people can just hop in there. And then if 11 to noon doesn't work out for you, hop in at a different time. Okay, so you can hop in any other time, schedule with me, and we'll figure something out so that we can get stuff put together. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to collaborating with you guys to make sure that you are getting what you need here for the instruction and getting any help that you need on any of that as well. All right, and I'm obviously rambling here. That's going to wrap it up here. This has been another episode of Red Hawk Media's Virtual Academy, and this is day 22, and I'm Mr. Hall, and I am signing off here. Excellent. You have a great day.